What's up, Jared?
How you doing, Brandon?
Doing great. You sound great.
Thanks. That echo in the room. You got to have the nerd set on.
It's good. It's good. We can tell you're serious. That's how we know you're
Oh yeah.
serious.
Either that, or you can tell I did a sales job and got used to the phones, and now once you get over it.
Now you just live life with headphones on. Sweet. Well, appreciate you taking some time today. Excited to jump into what you're building with email and SMS, kind of talk through pain points, stuff you're seeing, why you're doing it, what you're most excited about. So shouldn't be too long, but we'll dig in here in a second. I think there's some other people trickling in, and then we'll send some recordings out after. If, as people do jump on, if you do have questions or something specific you want additional clarification on from Jared, the Q&A section down at the bottom of the link is going to be the best way you can submit the question. We'll see the notification come in, and then we can answer it either real time or we can come in and type answers after. But that's going to be the best way. If you have specific questions, shoot them in. We'll happy to address them. So kicking things off, Jared, building an email and SMS software, it's a huge undertaking. Walk us through kind of what got you to this conclusion of what you're building, why you're building it, kind of how'd you get here?
Yeah, no, this is often the first question. Marketing automation. There's some good solutions out there. Like, why do that? I think the underlying question is usually like, isn't there something easier
Yep.
that you could be building? So when Sterling's Redo CEO was kind of pitching me on joining, basically told me, he's like, hey, there's some wild opportunities. Like, e-commerce is at an inflection point. Come join the team, build a startup within the startup, right? In a way, I did kind of have carte blanche to kind of figure it out. We had a pressing need at the time to build some products that were more adjacent to returns. So I helped out with that initially. As I kind of evaluated like what is going on right now, just in general, what are the challenges that brands are facing? So that was kind of my approach as a start there. It's like what are people running into? And basically, as I talk to merchants, people are like, hey, Apple privacy changes and algorithm changes are just like wrecking our paid ads right now. Like, that sucks. Then you layer in like inflation, there's a lot of pressure on margin just from that. And kind of at the core, as you start getting into it, there's more competition than ever online. Like, everybody's trying to figure out how to do more with their marketing and spend less on it, which might seem obvious, but you start getting into the weeds and you start to understand like why that is. And then I obviously now it's been accelerated even more. It's like, well, what can we do with AI and how it, tariffs, like how do you manage this additional pressure? Basically, I got in and I was like, okay, how could I help reduce CAC? I was like, okay, people are using 30, 40, 50 apps. A lot of them are marketing to run their brands. Most of those get plugged into Klaviyo. The integrations there are pretty weak. They mostly just send like events over to trigger a message. So like rich data sharing wasn't happening. So I'm basically putting this together and I'm like, okay, in 2024 with AI, with like all these things coming on, like it's easier than ever to build software. That barrier is way lower. Like, let's build something that's a consolidated group of apps. It's cheaper as a whole. It's got a rich data platform that can inform an AI that takes a lot of work off the marketer's plate and has more context to actually increase conversion. So it's basically like, can you make this more cost effective bundle that has better data for and is optimized for AI and is less expensive as a whole? So that's really like kind of where I.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Like CAC increasing, nothing we can really do against like CPMs, right? CPMs consistently going up on Facebook ads, on anywhere really that you're going. You see an uptick in people pushing over to TikTok, but then TikTok CPMs follow suit. And so a lot of people defaulting to email SMS, right? Retention campaigns, other ways to be able to hit lists to be able to still get revenue at a relatively cheaper rate. And makes sense. Some big dogs that we're going up against on that email and SMS side. So curious, based off what you've built and the merchants that we have on, where are you winning? Like how are you succeeding in that section right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we actually have grown it pretty fast. I guess I probably shouldn't say like revenue numbers uh, on the call, but it's been good. This again, another question that happens a lot. There's a few areas, honestly. When we first launched, we were missing a lot of features, frankly, that a lot of people would consider essential. So, really, initially, even though we had some cool kind of different things, the very first adopters or people who are like, hey, can I just get something that's more cost effective and consolidated and reinvest that money with some sort of top of funnel marketing, whatever that is for the brand. Obviously, varies quite a bit from one to the next. So that was kind of the initial thing. But really, at this point, we have brands who are winning with our like one-to-one messaging that's delivered by this AI that consolidates the customer record. We've got a way to bring the storefront into an email and kind of remove friction points. You can actually buy and shop directly in an email. That has performed very well for a lot of brands. So there's some areas like this where I think the traction is very strong. And then I would say the third one really is like a lot of people are coming and consolidating their email, SMS, their order tracking, their reviews, all kind of into one marketing app for a bundled price. Like a lot of other people are starting to offer some of these other things along with email and SMS, but it's going to cost you an arm and a leg to like add it on. And like how much do you need your reviews to do really?
Right.
Is often the question that people have. We bring those in, consolidate them, and then leverage the data on the AI side.
Yeah, very cool. So initially winning on price, right? But
Yep.
that's not really
It's not really the game we're trying to play.
yeah, that's not how you win a market.
No.
So initially winning on price and then allowing consolidation and then some additional features like you talked about shoppable emails, some one-to-one segmentation that you can do that increases conversion rates. Give us a couple examples, like some merchants that are
Yeah.
using it, what exactly winning for them and how do they implement it?
Yep. So I'll start with maybe shoppable emails.
Yeah.
There's kind of a fun thing that not everybody's seen before. So we have a lot of interactive elements that you can build into an email. But probably the most popular one right now is the storefront that you can bring into the email. So imagine for like new product drops, instead of putting a wall of, Klaviyo tile products, you actually have a shoppable carousel, and I can show you what that looks like in a
Yeah,
minute.
I could just jump in and show us.
Yeah. So I pulled up here within an email, more for a subscription management brand, so it's a little different, but gives you the idea. You see this. So basically, you can pick which products you're showing, that kind of stuff. Somebody to add it to their cart and actually check out directly within the email. So just very slick way to shop in that environment. Works in Gmail, Apple Mail, Yahoo, very powerful. The brand I was mentioning, they're kind of like the clothing, and they're they saw about a 40% conversion rate increase from sending the shoppable email, like in a campaign, and the interaction is a lot higher. So it's like a 60% increase in the click rate, which again, from a deliverability standpoint, can be pretty meaningful if somebody's giving a more positive signals. That's kind of one of the main things the inbox providers look at is how do you interact with the content that's sent. So, and we've seen that success repeated across a number of different merchants categories. I do think it's pretty strong with things that are in kind of the impulse buy range, larger catalogs, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting just because I know everybody gets flooded with emails, and so just some differentiator, something that makes you stand out versus the other 25 offers that are living in somebody's inbox can have a huge impact. And then keeping people in app, right? I know there's a lot of stuff within even paid ad side where they optimize towards an in-app experience instead of redirecting somebody just because it's a better end user experience instead of like linking out and clicking. And so if you can drive the majority of that purchase behavior within the email itself, and then the click out just happens when somebody's already made their decision. They just need to add the credit card is a huge win. Very cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you want more or like?
Sure. I mean, do you have another? That's shoppable emails. You had talked about some of the other differentiators previously being like
Yeah.
one-to-one messaging or something along those lines. Give us a taste, I guess, on what that's looking like.
Yeah, maybe you might have to blur the recording on this, kind of some personal info, but I think this is worth showing. So on the AI front, and this becomes particularly relevant the more products somebody's using on Redo. So this brand, they're using all of our marketing products. They're also using us for we have AI customer support app. They're running that. They've got returns coming through here, so we have all the context on people's preferences from that. We take all of that information. So anything that you have on the marketing side, but also the operational information, and basically create a profile for every shopper. So there's back end data that goes into this, but then we also have the AI analyze them from like a marketing standpoint. What makes it so that we can sell more effectively to this shopper? And then this is injected as context into our one-to-one messages. So this example is an abandoned cart, and another brand we ran this with, it's Shop Henley. Very, very cute clothes. Somebody should look them up. They put it on for abandoned cart. They had about a 4% conversion rate on their abandoned cart. We turned this on and maybe tested to see how this performed against their kind of static messages when it actually personalizes to the interests of the shopper. Went from 4% to 8%, and then the
Amazing.
revenue increase was actually more than double. So it was like a 2.5x increase in revenue. So the cart value is higher when it converted as well. So these are the things that I'm anxious to go much more all in on. Like, we have it in some of these areas in the products, but I think they need to be everywhere in the emails, the texts, everything.
Yeah. Yep. Makes a ton of sense. I think that personalization is going to be, I mean, that's the future, right? It's becoming more of the expectation. Whereas I go and shop, I want things a little bit more tailored to me. And so if I'm going to receive a text message, which is a little bit more of an intimate communication channel than an email anyways, I would
Yeah.
expect it to be a little bit more personalized towards me. And so makes sense. It's converting higher. That's incredible. So go from winning on pricing to building out shoppable emails, AI driven multi-touch point personas that feed into one-to-one SMS campaigns. As you look towards the next couple months on what you and the team are building, what do you get fired up about? Like what excites you?
Yeah. So this has been fun. So we've built this structure that, because I mean, some of the marketing tools out there right now, they have like AI sprinkled in all over. I don't know if you've heard like the analogy of sugar and frosting in a cake. We're trying to build sugar, so it's baked into the cake. I think a lot of the stuff I see is frosting. It's like, let's help you write the subject line, and then when you get the prompt, and if you go and do it in ChatGPT, you get kind of the same thing, and it's got a bunch of M dashes and whatever.
Yep.
So really, the key is you've got to know the AI's got to know everything. Like, and we built this structure that tells it everything it needs to know, and we're taking that structure and applying it to more and more parts of it. So we start with abandonments, then you move to the other automations, your welcome flows, even things like back in stock or wherever you want to put it, and then you take that to the campaign level. The other thing that we're adding in right now that is exciting is the concept of strategies. So like we're working with some supplement brands who they're like, yeah, we only have a few SKUs. We don't really want to take this, personalization route that's comparing maybe some of their past purchase history. It doesn't make as much sense. But if we can do some persuasive selling based on some of the research and things that we've cited on our website and other places and build up a knowledge base, that works better. So we actually have that in beta. We're running it and seeing some positive results, or strategies like social proof where we pull in the reviews based on the specific shopper and what we know about them, find a review that helps get them across the line, send that in, whether it's an abandoned cart message or other things. So I think we've done these tests. They've worked really well. Now we're expanding the use cases to cover a much broader spectrum. Anyway, it gets me excited.
Yeah, I think what excites me about that is instead of having a legacy product that now you have to go back to build these features to integrate with and get into, you can build it with the stuff, like you said, already baked in, right? We're thinking AI first, we're thinking entire customer journey and how do we touch at each piece. And so that thought process going into the build from 0 to 1 instead of trying to take it and layer it in after the fact, I think positions you uniquely to then be able to go and solve things quicker, sooner, faster, and be able to do it a lot more personalized. And so very, very exciting stuff.
It's fun. Yeah, we're having a good time with it.
Anything else on the horizon? Anything else you want to touch on?
Oh man, there's so much. I mean, the use cases with the interactive emails, especially when you start pairing that with AI and making the right recommendations. So it gets pretty cool. We haven't been trying to build product recommendations, but I'll tell you something that we've seen in our testing, like a baby brand. The AI is like, okay, what next message should be next for this person? And it looks at it's like, okay, they bought something that was 0 to 3 months. It's been 6 months. We're going to do 6 to 9 months as our recommendation. They made a return. They've made a couple of returns in this colorway. It seems like they don't like that colorway. We're actually going to, give them this other thing that they seem to keep more often. It's starting to think like a person, and um, that's where I get stoked. I just think when you people have these crazy flows, like all these things built out, and you can actually take out the complexity, like delete a lot of that stuff and get a better result. So I think I'm just excited. It's going to be easier for people to manage. It's going to deliver a better result. It won't be creepy, but it'll feel much more relevant to the shopper. It'll feel like you wrote the message to everybody. That's kind of what you want
Yeah.
as a shopper. You don't want to be creeped out, but it'll just be the most hyper relevant message you could have gotten at any
As
moment.
a merchant, you're still going to have visibility into the levers, though, right? Like you essentially
Totally.
can set it up so that it's operating for you and have unique personalizations, but you're never going to lose the visibility or ability to tweak
Yep.
on your end as well. And so, kind of best of both worlds, which is very exciting.
Well, and we try to build it in a way where you can test out like old way versus new way. And I'm not going to lie to you, like there's been some tests we've run that haven't gone well, but we've learned, and I think we're building the flexibility to where I think basically any brand's going to be able to see a lift and reduce the workload that it takes to manage it.
Cool. Very cool stuff. Very excited about what you're building. If someone wants to jump on, I think now's the time. If you've got any questions, shoot them over. If not, we'll wrap up here in a second. And Jared, very excited about what you're building. Appreciate your time, and we'll catch up again in a couple weeks to hear what you completed and what's coming up next.
Sounds good.
All right. See ya.